Hello to all my legends. Today I will discuss with you about arguably the greatest bodybuilding show on earth, the 1999 British Grand Prix. The lighting on the show was amazing. It paints all the bodybuilders in a totally different light, with everyone packing more mass and details than 90% of today's shows. Guys like Ronnie and Flex look just like a cartoon character with their balloonish muscles filled to the brim with details, feathering, and everything in between. It was godlike. In the front double, damn, all of them look great, especially Big Ron and Flex. You can see why they call him the Sultan of Symmetry. The man's flow and aesthetic is off the roof. Ronnie looked like an absolute beast with his huge and detailed arms and superb set of quads. Kevin looks great though, but kinda underwhelming in the arm and lats area. He's not as big as Ron, he's not as aesthetic as Flex, so he's clearly third. For first, I might actually go with Flex on this one. His flow is just immaculate, and his conditioning is not too far off compared to Ronnie's. It's really close though, because this earlier version of Ronnie is still quite aesthetic while having a trim and respectable midsection. In the front last spread, hmm, this is where Ronnie starts to expose these guys with his crazy width and muscle density. The man looks like he's about to pop with all those round and balloonish muscles. Even for a second, we could even see striations upon striations on his chest. Ronnie was sliced and diced while still being as big as a house. Fleck looks like a classic competitor next to Ronnie, and he's just too narrow to compete with Big Ron, or even Levrone. Lavrone's looking wide as a barn door, so I'd be putting him in a second place, with Flex in third and Ronnie in first. In the side chest, you'll get to see Ronnie in a moment. For now, we'll have a battle between Kevin and Flex. Kevin just nailing that side chest to a T. He was detailed in a hamstring and quads with tri chest and full round triceps. Flex is no slouch either, possessing an equally round arm and huge set of legs. However, his conditioning is not up to par compared to Ravoni, and his chest is not as full or striated as his. Then we pan to Ronnie, and game over. Just give this man his medal, cause what is this? The size, the fullness, and the hardness is just mind-boggling. Are we sure that they are in the same weight class? Jesus Christ. I think we all know who is first here. In the back double, Wheeler and Ravoni still won't have enough time to take a breather because in a back double, Ronnie is smoking both of them in muscle depth, quality, and details. Look at his glutes and compare it to the soggy bum of Flex. Big Ron is making this guy look like they're still in off season. Flex back is surprisingly comparable with Ronnie though. The veins on his traps and the impressively detailed lower back, his back might actually be the closest to Ron. But then we look downstairs. Yeah, we don't need any further explanation. Kevin to his right, though, looks surprisingly good for his standards. Dick was never a knockout post for Levrone, but he might edge out Flex for second place. His glutes and hamstring were the dial in, and his back's not too bad. But I still go with Flex for second place just because of his back. In the last spreads, we don't get to see Ronnie hitting in a full pose, but for what we saw, it's safe to assume that he will bring these guys to school. In this photo, you can see Ronnie just out muscling all of these fools, making all of them look small and narrow. Levrone is hanging on though. This has always been a better back post for Kevin, while not so much for Flex. His narrow clavicle is hurting him big time, and his execution, shrugging his straps and just pushing his arm forward too much, is only making him even narrower. In the side tricep, we won't get to see Kevin hitting the pose, but we can see Ronnie and Flex though. Ronnie's looking quite respectable here. They was much early on, so his stomach's not spoiling it for him, and his triceps not looking too small. But Wheeler's still beating him in terms of tricep mass and overall balance and symmetry. He's looking aesthetic as hell here. In the abs and thigh, it is quite obvious that Ronnie is last. The man has an ugly four pack, but his quads and V-taper is still admirable for a man of his size. Flex just looks like a statue sculpted from the finest marble with fully symmetrical six packs, feather quads, looking crazy aesthetic. Kevin takes a solid second here with his razor sharp obliques and well defined abs. The man boasts quite a decent abs and thighs. In conclusion, while Flex Wheeler looks just like a Marvel superhero come to life with a sublime shape and fullness, but Ronnie might just be that superhero biggest supervillain. His mass, conditioning, is just too overpowering for all these guys to handle. What is your opinion on this show? Drop a comment below. Subscribe to stay tuned with more bodybuilding analysis. That's all. See you, legends.